Hi there, it's Dave Gammon here, and I'm in a meeting room down in the Elverton Hotel in Hampshire, where I'm about to start within the next hour or so the second of my business breakthrough programs. I've got 4 managing directors of small to medium-sized businesses in this actual intake, and they're going to be embarking on what will be a 6 to 9 month journey for them with me, working with me both one-to-one and in these kind of group environments. And as you can see, I've splattered the walls with content, and what I'm going to do is make a series of short videos looking at some of that content on the wall there, because those pictures there contain the essence of what this program is about. So number one, there'll be some ideas, hopefully some stuff that will get you thinking. And secondly, perhaps it might persuade you into having a conversation with me about becoming part of this program. Because the goal of the Business Breakthrough program is to equip you so that you don't need me. So I've spent the last 8 years as a business coach in what I call retained relationship, where people work with me over an extended period of time, sometimes many years, helping them grow their business. But I've always had this curious question about, well, what if I could equip them in a way that they didn't need me? So in a way, I could help them think the way I think when I'm sat in front of them. And that was the birthplace of this program. So stick around, watch the short videos, and hopefully you'll get some really inspired ideas from them. So the slide on the wall behind me, which you'll also be able to see on your video the right way round, I call it the gap. And I call it the gap because simply what I know is at the heart of every piece of work I've ever done with any individual or any business is a gap between where they are and where they want to be. And my role is to help them figure out what that gap is and then figure out a plan of action to take them there. And at the heart of that is a clear understanding of just what that gap is. Because what I often find is when people understand precisely where they want to be and precisely where they are, this path of least resistance emerges for them. And it almost becomes obvious to them what they have to do next. And there's a sequence of actions, conversations, decisions and ideas to move them along and close the gap. But then there's always what I term the event horizon. There's always a point when you're planning forward, there's always a point beyond which you're unable to see or predict what's going to happen. And one of the things I think is true of the world today is that event horizons are becoming much shorter because there's much more uncertainty. We're moving into very uncharted territory. So recognizing that the event horizon is always there, that's not a reason not to do something and not to start moving, because as you move, the event horizon begins to move with you, because you start to collect more data on your journey, and you may have to adapt your plans and modify your actions, but the event horizon keeps moving as well. So what you see behind me now is the code of conduct for the Business Breakthrough program, the kind of ground rules for participants, if you like. And I formulated these through really exploring, when I'm sat in front of a client, what is it I'm scanning for and searching for when I'm working with them that's given me a clue to why they're showing up and acting or thinking in the way that they are. And these rules were largely formulated as a result of that process of me thinking about what is it I look for. And therefore, if I set them up as rules in the program and get people to be aware of their behaviours, there's a self-modification that goes on. So I don't need to be there every time they come to make a decision, have an idea or create an action. So the way my clients are showing up and the results they're getting as a consequence of how they're showing up are mediated, for want of a better word, mediated by their internal narrative, i.e. the story that they're carrying about business and about themselves. Because every idea, decision, action, piece of information is getting filtered through that story. So their perception, if you like, of situations is altered. Now, because I'm their coach and I'm sat opposite them and I don't have that story, I'm able to see things literally different to them. And what I know is that story largely comes down to a kind of a conversation about three key things. First of all, your story about yourself sort of shapes your internal identity, how you see yourself and who you think you are. Secondly, it shapes what you want. We're brought up with a narrative, depending on where we were brought up, to indicate what a good life is supposed to be and what it is we're supposed to want. And thirdly, we have a narrative about how we think the world works. Now, any one of these things only has to be a few degrees out, and it can make a massive difference to your results. So at the heart of this business breakthrough program is really getting under the skin of your own internal narrative so that you can see when it's showing up and how it's influencing, for good or for bad, the decisions and actions that you take.